What's up, wrestlers, coaches, and fans? I'm Coach Fiorito, and this is Wrestling Mastery, where I break down mastery level technique performed by the best in the world. In this video, I'll be breaking down from setup to takedown David Baev of Russia and his perfected outside single Metzger variation. Its technical precision is a checkmate, leaving his opponents with no options. I'll also be touching on his nasty re-attacks, and is always an attack style of wrestling. He has a counter for snaps, shots, even fakes, and his execution is a work of art. Baev has dominated every level of the sport, having won a world title at the cadet level, junior level, and senior level. And remember folks, technique is about finding the variation that not only works for you, but works for you consistently. Quick shout out to my DUNDEE Highlanders, and let's get into the technique. The two wrestlers I'm covering that use this move exceptionally well are both from North Ossetia Alania in Russia, home of the Alans International Tournament, a qualifier for the Yarygin. Since this move doesn't have a name in the US system, I'm going to call it the Alans Dump. Opening sequence, Baev vs Hayden Hidley, U23 World Championships. We have heavy hand fighting followed by a break in the action. Baev from space reaches for a tie with his right arm. Anticipating Hidley's reaction to tie up, Baev counters with a post combined with a deep outside split step along with a level change. What I really want you to notice here is Baev's tie isn't just for the reaction, he really locks down on the trap muscle, so let's call it a trap hook. This hook is important on two fronts. It lets Baev take an aggressive level change penetration and keeps Hidley from level changing himself. Baev, using the momentum of the penetration, will secure an elbow deep outside single. Then by using the single, proper head position, and the trap hook, will drive Hidley up onto one foot. From there, Baev will run him off balance for the score, but notice it's the momentum combined with maintaining position. From the top, from space, Baev reaches out for a trap hook, counters Hidley's tie up with a post, outside step single, drive him up to 1 foot, and run him off balance, maintaining the position. Next sequence for his world bronze medalist James Green, we're going to focus on the footwork. We have hand fighting followed by a break in the action. Green reaches out to tie, and as Baev goes to post, he also hits a split step at the same time. What's crucial to the split step is that you create downward momentum so that you level change simultaneously. Baev is not jumping both feet off the ground here. Instead, he splits them off the ground, bringing both knees up, so he's essentially falling into a level change. He'll plant his drive leg first, and look how he falls into a deep penetration because his lead leg doesn't touch the ground until full extension of his drive leg. Notice how the trap hook keeps Green elevated and out of position. Baev, with good head position and the outside single, will continue with the momentum and drive Green up to one leg. And from here, it's all about running him off balance by readjusting and maintaining the single and trap hook while keeping Green on 1 foot. As Green tries to kick out, notice how Baev readjusts to a deeper single. He's also crunching down on the trap hook. This keeps Green off balance and elevated. With mat awareness, he dives for a last-ditch effort to get the 4. From the top, post with a split step level change penetration using the trap hook single with momentum to drive Green to 1 foot, adjusting to maintain position and running him off balance for the takedown. Qualifying round World Championships, Baev from space reaches out for a tie. Anticipating the incoming tie, he counter posts with a split step. Notice how he falls into the level change. Using the single, head position, and trap hook, drives his opponent onto 1 foot. As he drives, he crunches down on the trap hook to get the takedown. Quarters to the World Championships, same setup, post with a split step. Notice how he's really locked into the single, head position, and trap hook to keep his opponent off balance on 1 foot. Collapses down on the trap hook and elevates the single for the takedown. Let's see Baev use the Alans Dump for some 4s. World Finals vs Kaipanov, same setup, counters the incoming tie with a post to a split step level change penetration, using a single, head position, and the trap hook to drive Kaipanov to 1 foot, driving in, adjusting to maintain position, collapsing the trap hook and elevating the single, following through and dumping him for the 4. Last sequence of a perfectly executed Alans Dump. Baev reaches for his tie, counterposting the incoming tie, driving off the penetration leg. Look how he uses head position to help collapse the trap hook, ultimately dumping him for the 4. 2016 Olympic champion Soslan Ramonov blitzes his way through the field using the Alans Dump. Now we'll cover different entries to score with the move. Opening sequence, Soslan captures a 2-on-1 at the wrist, and he posts his head at the shoulder. This encourages his opponent to grab a wrist to clear the tie. You'll see Soslan load up forward pressure with his posted head. Then he'll relieve that pressure with a level change and at the same time cross-posting to clear his controlled wrist. The pressure release causes his opponent to step forward, and look how big the opening is here. Perfect setup for the duck. Watch this transition from duck to Alain's dump. As Soslan works back into his opponent, he's looking for that outside single and trap hook. To take a direct line back into his opponent, Soslan plants heavy with his left leg while rotating his right knee up off the ground. Watch as he readjusts to the meat of the trap, and then collapsing the trap hook and driving for the takedown. From the top, 2-on-1 wrist control with forward pressure, level change post to clear wrist, hard plant, rotating back into opponent, adjusting trap hook, collapsing trap hook, and driving for the score. Next sequence, Olympic Finals vs 2012 Olympic champion Asgarov. You'll see Asgarov work in a loaded collar tie. Soslan will redirect that forward pressure with an elbow pass. But look at the footwork. He gets Asgarov to step, but he also switches his feet and takes an outside step penetration and secures a high crotch. Transitions to an outside single, and as he drives Asgarov onto one foot, he also hunts for the trap hook. Needing to readjust, he finds his way to the trap, collapsing and elevating the single for 4. From the top, Asgarov has a heavy collar tie. Ramonov redirects with an elbow pass to outside step high crotch to an outside single, hunts for the Alain's dump, readjusts, secures position, and dumps him for 4. This next sequence ends in a scramble, but we'll see how to maintain a dominant position. From another angle, you can see Asgarov loading up a collar tie with forward pressure, and watch how much this elbow pass really redirects that heavy lean. Asgarov falls to his knees, and Soslan transitions to an arm drag, but hunts for the Alain's dump. Out of desperation, Asgarov rotates all the way through, but as Soslan hips in and maintains control of the outside leg and works to shelf it, he leaves no option and gets the exposure. Tech fall. Soslan elbow passes a loaded collar tie to an arm drag to an Alain's dump, ends up in a scramble but hips in and controls the outside leg, working to the outside and shelves the leg, gets the exposure. Another way to get into the Alain's dump is through a re-attack. There's an open shot from space and Soslan level changes and ducks the arm. Drives into the Alain's by securing a trap hook and the outside single. His opponent hooks the leg out of desperation. Soslan continues driving and dumps him for 4. One more time at full speed. Last sequence against 2016 world champion Logan Stieber. Stieber attempts a throw by single. Soslan sprawls, re-attacks the outside leg. As he hits the corner, he runs Stieber up to one leg and is in perfect position for the Alain's dump. Collapses the trap hook and elevates the leg and dumps him for 4. One more time at full speed. David Baev's always on the attack style of offense makes him a constant threat at any point in the match. He has a simplistic yet highly effective approach to his re-attacks, and we're going to go over a few ways in which he utilizes this technique. Out of the gate, hand fighting leads to an underhook by Baev. His opponent clears a hook and throws a jab step fake at Baev. He down blocks defensively, but like a sprinter in the blocks, he fires out of them and attempts a double leg. And this is what makes world champions, spur of the moment transitions. He feels the double leg is not there, switches right to a single with great position, and then transitions back to a double. Ear glued to hip, both legs secured, shoulder in the gut, and drives for the score. Baev down blocks a shot fake, fires off a double, transitions to a single, back to a double, driving for the takedown. Next sequence, same match, his opponent attempts a snap down and Baev goes down block. And from the blocks, he fires out of them like a sprinter and hits a double leg. But from the down block, it's not a typical knee over toe or even outside step type penetration. You'll see Baev knee slides into the double, driving up, shoulder in the gut, ear glued to hip, both legs secured, and driving and finishing for the takedown. Again from the top, snap attempt, down block to a knee slide double, driving for the score. One time, full speed, don't blink. Next sequence, Baev's opponent tries to sell a really hard jab step fake. Baev bites into his down block, but at the same time he snatches the ankle. As he drives his right knee in, he also transfers the leg from his right to his left hand. He also adjusts head position to restrict his opponent's movement, but also so he can reach backside. He then posts his head and chases backside for the score. Down blocks the fake, snatches the ankle, hand-to-hand transfer, with head position, chases backside for the score. One more time at full speed. Great scramble in this next sequence. Looks like Baev's opponent tries to arm snap him, but he falls into his down block, also snatching the ankle, follows through to stay in position to score, and as he climbs up, his opponent actually does a great job of spinning out of this technique. But if you've caught the trend with Baev, when he pulls the trigger, he doesn't stop until he scores, reshooting a knee pull single, using the momentum of the penetration and arm position to pull himself around his planted knee back into a great single position. And here's some fundamental wrestling. Before any transition, he makes sure the leg is secure. Missing out, so he shelves the leg and also secures it between his gut and his quad before transitioning, working up the leg, securing the outside hip, and working for a body lock for the hard-fought takedown. One more time at full speed. In this sequence, Baev's opponent actually shoots, so here's the down block in action. Baev keeps his level changed and attacks a low single. His opponent evades the score with a good scramble, and as Baev closes the distance, his opponent takes a shot to be caught by another down block. This time, Baev really pressuring in, putting a lot of weight into his opponent's feet. Baev reaches in for an ankle pick and drives him over it for the score. One more time at full speed. Last sequence, world semifinal versus Gadzaev. Gadzaev hits a slick post-level change to a single leg, and he's really past all of Baev's defenses. But look how Baev buries both of his arms, and this is intentional. Just like the down block and how it can keep distance from your opponent and your legs, he uses both arms to pry Gadzaev off of the single leg. But with an always on the attack style of offense, Baev snatches the single leg, and an overextended Gadzaev falls out of position. Baev secures the takedown. Wrestling mastery. This wraps up my latest breakdown. I hope it helps you in your pursuit of becoming a better wrestler, coach, or fan. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Much more is on its way. I'm just a former wrestler turned coach, and this is another way I can give back to a sport that has provided me so much. I'd like to recognize some of my new supporters on Patreon. It's much appreciated, and I'm very flattered by your support. We'll see you next time on Wrestling Mastery.